Hi everyone. As you can tell, I am in my doctor scrubs today. So, you know this is going to be a serious topic. Today I wanted to talk to you about female genital mutilation or FGM, and there is a reason for this. But first, a little bit of background on female genital mutilation. FGM comprises all procedures that involve either a partial or a total removal of the external female genitalia. And this also includes any other type of injury that is inflicted on the female genital organs for non-medical reasons. Yes, I said non-medical reasons. Because this is a procedure that is specifically designed to mutilate women. Tell me again about this awful patriarchy in the Western world, please. Anyway, female genital mutilation is classified into 4 major types. And instead of me going through the horror of describing it to you, I'm actually going to put the link in the description for you to go read about, which, trust me, you will not want to. But should you decide to do this, you're going to see that there are 4 different types. This is how sick these people are who do this. They have systematized this process, which I find disgusting. And I also find it to be one of the most barbaric practices that any human being can inflict on another. Even chimps have more sympathy and empathy towards each other than the monkeys who engage in this horror. And by the way, before I get into the details, please don't allow them to compare this to male circumcision, because this is typical jihadi propaganda that they use against the brainless khawaga. Khawaga is what they call you, by the way, because they view you as Western fools. This is a moral equivalence argument that they use, and it's used as a form of a distraction. And it's also used to fuel hate against Jews, because we all know that jihadis have a pathological obsession with Jews. So please, none of this. So female genital mutilation, or FGM for short, is recognized internationally as a violation of the human rights of girls and women. It also reflects a deep-rooted inequality between the sexes, and it constitutes an extreme form of discrimination against women. It nearly is always carried out on minors and is a violation of the rights of children. The practice also violates the person's rights to health, security, physical integrity, the right to be free from torture, from cruel and inhumane as well as degrading treatment, and the right to life, especially if the procedure results in death. I'm going to read a few bullet points for you. Female genital mutilation includes procedures that intentionally alter or cause injury to the female genital organs for non-medical reasons, as I had mentioned. The procedure has no health benefits for girls and women. The procedure can cause severe bleeding, it can cause problems urinating, and later cysts, infections, as well as complications during childbirth, and an increased risk of death of newborn babies. More than 200 girls and women alive today have been cut, in 30 countries in Africa, the Middle East, as well as Asia, where female genital mutilation is concentrated. Female genital mutilation is mostly carried out on young girls between the ages of infancy and 15 years old. I would encourage you to go check out the link that you will find in the description. I wanted to discuss something with you today, a project that I am working on as a form of retaliation from us women against this barbaric cultural practice that has plagued us for centuries. Although much has changed in the world around us here in the West, very little has actually changed in the place that I originally come from. In fact, I can argue that I am now witnessing my new-found homeland turn slowly into everything that I had escaped. My freedom, since arriving in Canada in 2003, has never felt more threatened than it does right now. Because I challenge the norm. Because of this, my culture rejects me. My country has exiled me. My family has disowned me. And the religion that I was born into openly calls for my demise. In Canada too, by the way, I was denied so much in the 26 years that I was forced to live in Saudi Arabia. But what hurt me more than anything was the fact that I was denied education because I was a female. All kinds of education, but specifically speaking, girls are denied any form of sexual education. And this inside the fact that many of us are married off to pedophiles as young as the age of 9. Please do refer to my Muta'a marriage video, which I'm going to link in the description. I, like most women in countries that are ruled by this Sharia, know nothing about sex other than this thing, his thing, goes in here. And as a result of this, I was extremely uneducated on so much when it comes to sexual health. And yes, this is true even though I was a doctor. I didn't know much. And this is because of the religious educational bias that clouds our understanding, that clouds our vision of so many things. I recall being in the ER in one of the training hospitals here in Canada. I was evaluating a 25-year-old female with undiagnosed abdominal pain. This 25-year-old female was unmarried. And because she was unmarried, the differential diagnosis of ectopic pregnancy didn't even cross my mind. Again, this is because of my religious and educational bias that I came with here to train in your hospitals from Saudi Arabia. Because she was unmarried, because I knew from my training back in Saudi that women who are unmarried could never get pregnant. So as such, that differential diagnosis never crossed my mind. So she didn't really end up having an ectopic pregnancy. But what if she had? And I ignored it because of my lack of sexual education. I have decided to embark on a new journey, a new platform, if you may. And I wanted to let you in on this in hopes of your support. This platform, the videos involved in it, will not be available on YouTube, and they will not be available on any of the censorial platforms who have abused their powers to silence the voice of people. Because of this, And because I view this work as valuable and precious in its nature, therefore I have decided to create a new platform dedicated to educating women in the Middle East about sex. And I know that this is probably not going to be everyone's cup of tea, especially considering that it most likely, but not exclusively, is going to be delivered in Arabic. I'm not entirely sure yet, as we are still kind of working on it and trying to tweak it. Nonetheless, and having said all this, it will still be quite blunt and quite explicit. I know in North America, you guys had this famous sex therapist who was known as Dr. Ruth Westheimer. I love this woman, especially after I viewed her entire content after I came here to Canada. Like, it was unbelievable, the work that she had done. So I'm going to be focusing on more health-related educational content. But having said this, that doesn't mean that there won't be the odd naughty story, especially some of the ones that some of you have shared with me through email. But the goal remains to help women who are suffering the same way I did in Middle Eastern countries, and to help them discover their sexuality, to discover their inner strength, and to be devoid of the shame that we are born into. I want them to understand instead of become overwhelmed with the shame and the guilt that are imposed on us under Islamic Sharia law. And in these cultures, I want women in the Middle East who deserve equal rights to sexual freedom, access to it, access to information that will give them this right. So, this is our time to fight for this together. And nothing, I repeat, nothing is going to be off limits in my new platform. And I truly hope that you will join me in this journey. Stay tuned for the Doha Sex Show. I invite you to join me.